Hello from the Iowa Capitol. This is our weekly Under the Golden Dome update that gives you a quick synopsis of what's going on with legislators under the Golden Dome. This week was the first week of the 2020 legislative session, and it's a little bit like the first day of school. Everybody comes back in their shiny new clothes with their new backpacks, and they all talk about what did you do over the interim and how have you been, because you haven't seen so many of them in so long. And so because it's like the first day of school, it seems like it takes a while for things to get rolling. This week's also a kind of a ceremonial week because you have three major speeches: the State of the State, delivered by the governor, the State of the Judiciary, delivered by the Chief Justice, and the State of the Guard, delivered by the head of the National Guard. So as those things happen, and now that we've moved beyond those, we'll start to see a little more action going on with respect to policy. The three things you need to know about this week. Number one, the governor delivered her State of the State address. This is really kind of the kickoff to developing legislation and the budget for the upcoming year, as she lays out her priorities, both in how much money she wants to spend and what are some of her policy initiatives that she's interested in pursuing. You can find more information on what she has specifically proposed with respect to education on our Advocacy and Action webpage or on our podcast that was released on Tuesday. One of the things that she really did, and this is the second thing that you need to know, is that the governor laid out kind of the beginning discussion point on how much new money for public education. She's proposing a $103 million investment, which equates to approximately, when you add in some of the other things she's funding with that, about a 2.5% supplemental state aid rate for the upcoming budget year. The second thing that you need to know about that is that legislators, the House and Senate Education Committee chairs, have said that they are intending to move very, very quickly to address and set the supplemental state aid rate, and both of them have said that they have maintained and will maintain their commitment to fully funding the transportation equity piece to bring everyone down to the statewide average, as well as perhaps accelerating how much money and how quickly we close the gap with respect to the district cost per pupil. While no numbers are out from either chamber, I do think that that they're having those discussions behind the scenes, and hopefully next week we'll see those formal proposals released publicly. The third thing you need to know is that during their organizational meetings this week, the chairs of the House and Senate Education Committee kind of outlined some of the issues beyond, obviously, school funding that they want to talk about and try to resolve in the upcoming year. Issues like how do we deal with child care issues and expand preschool access? What are we going to do about helping teachers and schools deal with disruptive students in therapeutic classroom development? What are we going to do to address some of the ELL shortfalls that we have? Those are just some of the issues that we heard legislators talk about. There was also some discussion about how do we expand some of the functions for the shared operational sharing positions. So as the weeks go on, we'll see their bills pop out of being introduced and being considered by the committee, and we'll be right there to make sure that our voice and your voice is heard.